A VP just asked our AI chatbot for Q3 revenue, and it just made up numbers confidently in a board deck. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn why every AI that you've built is probably lying to you. The architecture that Google and Microsoft actually use in production, and how you can build your first RAG system in less than 50 lines of code. Hi, I'm Edna. I've been in tech for over a decade now, and I've gone through it all: promotions, a layoff, and also burnout, which made me rethink everything. And I decided to create this space to help other software professionals grow their skills and work smarter with AI. So smash that subscribe button and let's level up together. And in return, here's a cute picture of my dog, Kaden. Quick, are you hands-on with AI or are you leading a team who does it? Comment H or L below. Here is what no one told you when GPT-4 dropped. Large language models are great pattern machines, but they suck at remembering your data. Think about it. You spend 3 months training your team on the new deployment process. You document everything in Confluence. And then you go and ask ChatGPT, tell me what is our deployment process? And it goes back and gives you a generic DevOps answer that it has nothing to do with your actual workflow. That's not a bug. It's the limitation of pre-trained models. They are really good at remembering the data that they were trained on up to the cutoff date. They're not going to remember your Q3 roadmap or the conversation you had with your customers last week. And here's the spicy part. When an LLM doesn't know the answer to your question, it doesn't say, I don't know. It hallucinates. It makes up an answer. And this is the billion-dollar problem that RAG solves. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Let's break that down. Retrieval: fetch the relevant information from the external sources. Augmented: improve the model's context. And lastly, generation: produce an answer based on the fetched information and facts. Think of an LLM like a friend who dropped out of college in 2023 and hasn't checked the news since. They're very smart, but they're not aware of the latest news. RAG is that same friend who you hand to a smartphone with access to Google and also your entire company's wiki. Now you ask them a question, they go and fetch the relevant information and provide an answer based on that. And here's the beautiful part. You are not retraining the model on these data. You are not fine-tuning it by using proprietary data. No, you're just telling it, hey, you have access to these relevant documents, so go and fetch an answer for me based on those. Now, let me walk you through the architecture. I promise you it is simpler than you think. The first step is indexing. Imagine you take all of your documents, they could be PDF files, Slack messages, anything, and you break them down into chunks. Each chunk, you can think of it being 500 to 1,000 tokens. Then you take these chunks and convert them into vector embeddings. Embeddings are like coordinates in meaning space. They cluster similar concepts together. For example, the words deployment and release, the vectors for those are going to be very close to each other. Then you take all of these vector embeddings and store them in a vector database, like Pinecone. Second step is the retrieval, basically the searching part. When a user asks a question, you take that and convert it into embeddings with the same model. Then you go ahead and do a similarity search. You basically find the top 3 to 5 embeddings that have similar embeddings as the question. The third step is the augmentation. You basically take those chunks that you found and you inject them into LLM's prompt. You're basically saying, given these relevant documents, you insert the documents here, the chunks, answer this question, you then add the user's question, use only the information provided. Step 4, the last step, is the generation, writing the answer. The LLM basically creates that answer based on the actual data, not hallucination, not outdated data. Stay with me because in 30 seconds, I'm going to show you the numbers on why this isn't optional anymore, and also a demo so you can see it easily. Remember when everyone was saying we all are going to be prompt engineers? Well, the real skill isn't in writing perfect prompts. It's in architecting your AI so that's reliable. And RAG is how your production AI works at scale. Remember GitHub Copilot? That's basically RAG on your codebase. Here's a stat that will wake you up. According to recent benchmarks, RAG systems reduce hallucinations by up to 80% compared to vanilla LLM queries. That's a difference between a tool people trust and a toy people avoid. Okay, real talk. If you're a manager and your team is shipping AI features without RAG, you're actually shipping liability, not value. Let me explain to you with an example so you know exactly why. Imagine your company is tasked with building a customer support chatbot for a SaaS company. Without RAG, customer might say, "How do I set up SSO with Okta?" With RAG, your system goes and retrieves your documentation on Okta integration, but also the last few support tickets that solved a similar problem. And then AI says, based on our documentation, here's your exact process. And if you're on the enterprise plan, make sure to contact support for custom XAML configuration. See the difference? All right. Let me show you RAG in action without writing even one single line of code. I'm going to be using ChatGPT's Custom GPTs, which is basically RAG with a really nice interface. First, I'm creating a new GPT. This is where the magic happens. See the knowledge section? This is our document store, our retrieval system. I'm uploading these 3 internal docs here: a deployment guide, onboarding doc, and API standards. These are the kind of company specific documents that ChatGPT would never know about. It automatically chunks these, creates embeddings, and stores them in their vector database. All the technical stuff we talked about happening behind the scenes. Now I'm giving it instructions. Things like, you're a helpful assistant for Tech Corp employees, just example. Answer questions based strictly on the uploaded company documents. Always cite which document you're referencing. If information isn't in the document, say so clearly. This is our system prompt, telling it to use retrieval and show it sources. Now I'm adding some starter questions. When do we deploy to production? What's our API authentication method? What benefits start on day 1? These help people know what assistant can answer. All right, let's test it. I'm now asking it, what time do we deploy to production? Let's watch what happens. It searches through the uploaded files, finds the relevant section in the deployment guide, and finally generates an answer. And look, it says, according to the TechCorp deployment guide, production deployments happen Friday at 4 a.m. EST only. It's citing the exact document. This is RAG. It retrieved the relevant chunk from our knowledge base, augmented the prompt with the context, and generated a grounded response. Now watch this. I'm asking, what's our office address? That's definitely not in these 3 PDFs. See? It says it can't find that information in the uploaded documents. No hallucination. It knows its boundaries. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button, comment, but also share it with a friend. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and smash the subscribe button on my channel. It helps YouTube to show this content to others who might find it helpful. And now I leave you, like I always do, with a joke because life is too short not to laugh. Why don't embeddings never get lost? Because they always know their coordinates in meaning space. See you next time.